All right, so we're diving deep today into Holly Holm's career.
Yeah.
She just made a huge decision,
Huge. Yeah.
requesting release from the UFC after how many years?
It's been a decade.
A decade in the UFC.
Yep.
So for fans of Holly Holmes and for fans of just like women's MMA, this is a big deal.
Yeah. It's a big shakeup.
So let's get into it.
Okay.
So requesting a release from the UFC, I mean, she still had fights left under contract, right?
Yeah. So she chose to leave even though she had fights remaining, and that's
big.
That's really significant because it shows that she's actively looking for a change.
Right.
It seems like maybe she wants a different kind of fight or maybe a better path to another title shot.
Yeah, and she's coming off of a loss to Kayla Harrison.
Right, at UFC 300.
But before we analyze that too much, I mean, we have to talk about Holly Holm's career.
Oh, absolutely.
That head kick knockout of Ronda Rousey back in 2015. But I don't know about you, I was watching it live.
Oh, yeah.
The energy was insane.
It was a pivotal moment for women's MMA.
Absolutely.
Like that win, it wasn't just a win, it was a statement.
Yeah.
It launched her into superstardom. I mean, cemented her place in MMA history.
She became the bantamweight champion after only 3 fights in the UFC.
Yeah, it was a meteoric rise.
And then she lost to Miesha Tate in her very next fight.
Right.
So what happened there? Was Miesha Tate's grappling just
Yeah, I think that was a big part of it.
a bad matchup?
Tate was really effective at closing the distance. You know, she was able to neutralize Holm's striking.
Holm's a boxer primarily, right?
Exactly, and she had trouble defending those takedowns and submissions from Tate.
Right.
It was a clash of styles that really showed a weakness in Holm's game at the time.
Okay, and then after that, she never quite managed to reclaim UFC gold,
Right.
even though she challenged for titles in 2 weight classes.
Yeah, bantamweight and featherweight.
She faced some incredible fighters.
Oh, some of the best.
Amanda Nunes,
Chris Cyborg.
Jermaine Durandamy.
Tough competition.
Yeah.
Each of those fighters, you know, they presented unique challenges that Holm just couldn't overcome.
Right, but even though she didn't win those titles, I mean, she beat some pretty incredible fighters, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Raquel Pennington,
Irene Aldana.
Bella Correa.
I mean, those are some of the top contenders in the world.
Yeah.
And she didn't just win, she dominated those fights.
Exactly.
It just goes to show how skilled and dangerous Holly Holm is.
Yeah, I mean, her record and the fact that she's been at the top of this sport for so long,
So long.
it speaks volumes.
Yeah, talent and dedication.
So after a decade with the UFC, she is now going into free agency.
It's a whole new world for her.
So what are some of the biggest opportunities that you see out there for her?
Well, the landscape of women's MMA is way bigger than it used to be.
Right.
You've got Bellator, PFL One Championship. All of these are possibilities for her.
And what about Bellator specifically?
Well, Bellator's champion relies a lot on forward pressure.
Okay.
Holm's counter-striking could be a really interesting challenge for that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some people might look at Holm leaving the UFC and say, oh, this is a sign of decline, but
I don't know.
what do you think?
It's hard to say for sure.
She is 41 years old, which is...
Which is getting up there in MMA.
Yeah?
But she's also incredibly disciplined
Yeah.
and in amazing shape.
You can tell.
This could be a strategic move, you know?
Yeah.
A way to make the most of the time she has left in the sport by finding matchups that give her the best shot at another title.
So this could be like the second act of her career.
Yeah,
It's exciting.
it is.
So Holly Holm, former UFC champion, legend of the sport,
Yeah.
starting a new chapter in her career.
Big move, could totally redefine her legacy.
Big questions.
Huge questions.
Will she find more success outside the UFC?
Or was her peak with the UFC?
We'll have to wait and see.
Only time will tell.
Holly Holm's fighting journey continues.
Onward and upward.
It'll be fascinating to see where she goes from here.
Definitely.
What challenges are waiting for her?
What triumphs.
This is a whole new phase of her career, and we'll be watching.
Can't wait to see what happens.
That's it for our deep dive today.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time.